Hello, everyone. In the topic 2, we discuss the fundamental statistics for finance. Okay, and we have learned how to, actually, the statistics is based on a theoretical framework. This theoretical framework can be exemplified by a population distribution. With the population distribution, we calculate important statistics such as expected return, the variance, the standard deviation, covariance, correlation coefficient. Okay. Because we don't have, this is very simple. Okay, I put this in a Excel. In Excel. The Excel is embedded in the slides. You can open the Excel. Actually, in the Excel. There are two sheets. Okay, one sheet is the probability distribution. Okay, and the other one is statistics calculation. Because it is simple. So in the class we didn't discuss how to use this population distribution to calculate the statistics in detail. So I believe, if you read this Excel, you can find out. In case some students didn't follow didn't follow this Excel, then I'm going to demonstrate how to use the population distribution to calculate these statistics. Okay, so anyway, first of all, read the slides and then read this and open this Excel and read this sheet. Statistics calculation. See if you can understand. If you don't, then watch this video. Okay, so in the class we will not discuss this in details. All right. Okay, first of all, in the slides, this is the formula. This to calculate the expected return. So I'm not going to discuss this slide in details. I believe you can understand this slide. Then we have a population distribution. In this population distribution, in the future we have five scenarios or 5 state of nature, and in this column shows the probabilities, the probability that each scenario will occur, and this column shows the return. If one scenario occurs, then the return on asset A. And this column shows the return, possible return on asset B if one scenario occurs. Okay. Now, just as I said, this is called the population distribution. Actually, it is an example. It is an example. We're going to use this example to explain how to calculate the statistics under a theoretical framework. Okay. So according to this, first of all, I'm going to calculate the expected return. Okay. So in order to calculate the expected return, we have to calculate, for each scenario, we have to calculate the probability of this scenario times the return on an asset if this scenario occurs, right? So I'm going to put this in this column. That is P. Let me see the notation. Yeah, I have used. Okay, to be consistent. Okay, I'm going to use this notation. Okay. This column is named column 2. Column 2. So it is probability. So first of all, I'm going to calculate the probability times the return on asset A. Asset A is column 3. So in the name of this column would be column 2 times column 3. All right. Okay. So that is column 2. Yeah, for recession scenario, probability is this one, is B4, right? And times the return on asset A when recession occurs. Return on asset A when recession occurs is negative 0.27, negative 27%. Right? And now, after this, yeah, we're going to do this for each scenarios. So I'm going to move the cursor to the bottom right corner until a black cross shows up. And then double click this black cross. Okay, then I copy this function to each row, right? For example, for this row, for this cell, that is B6, click key hit the function, yeah, hit F4 in your keyboard. You can find sorry, not F4, F2. Hit the key F2 on your keyboard. Now you can see how can we get the value in this cell. The value in this cell is the product between B6, this one, this blue one, times C6, this red one, right? This red one. Okay. So that is probability times return on asset A. Now I'm going to calculate probability column 2 times return on asset B, that is column 4. Okay. Probability is B6, B4 times return on asset B, that is a positive 27%, right? Okay. Do the same thing. Yeah, we copy the function to the other rows. Okay. Now using our okay, sum them up, right? Now sum them up. The sum is nothing but the expected return. So now here, of course, here be careful. We have to use a sum function. Okay, sum function. Sum function. So sum from E4 to E8. Then that is expected return on asset A. Okay, I'm going to make a note. So that is expected return on asset A. All right. Okay. And then, yeah, I'm going to move the cursor to the bottom right and scroll to the right. Then what is this? Now we can check. That is the sum from F4 to F8, right? Is here. Now let me hit the key F2 on the keyboard. Oh, come on. Now you can see, okay, this is the sum from F4 to F8. So, of course, yeah, this is the expected return on asset B. Okay, follow our rule. Yeah, following our rule. Yeah, I'm going to round the number to 6 decimal places. Okay, highlight these two cells. Then right click. Then on this menu, yeah, you choose format cells. Okay, I'm going to choose the number and keep 6 decimal places. Okay, so that is okay. Don't forget, yeah, make a note here. That is expected return. Expected return on asset B, right? On asset B. Okay, what is the next? Next, yeah, we're going to calculate the variance and the standard deviation. So here it is the formula. Yeah, just as I said, right? For each scenario, we're going to calculate the deviation, and then square the deviation, and then multiply. Yeah, we call this the squared deviation. Then multiply the squared deviation by the probability. For each scenario, we're going to do the same thing. And then finally, we sum them up. The sum is the variance. Okay. Now I'm going to calculate. Okay. Here, to people, yeah, I'm going to use the same notation. Okay. First of all, we calculate the deviation of asset A. So deviation on asset A. Okay, and then in this column, I'm going to calculate the deviation on asset B. Okay, so I'm going to do this step by step. Okay, and yeah, when you in your homework, yeah, you can do, yeah, you can put several steps into one step. Okay, deviation. So that should be deviation for asset A. So that should be 1. Oh, sorry, not 1. That should be the return when recession. Yeah, for this row. Yeah, that should be return on asset A when recession occurs minus the expected return here, right? Minus expected return of asset A. Okay, because yeah, we're going to copy the function. When we copy the function, E11 should be locked. So now I'm going to hit the key. I'm going to hit the key F2 on your keyboard. I'm going to hit the key F4 on your keyboard. Okay, by hitting the key F4 on your keyboard, then we lock the E11. We lock E11. Okay, then click enter. So that is deviation. That is deviation of asset A. Now, yeah, we can do the deviation of asset B. So that should be, in this row, that should be the possible return on asset B, this one, right? When recession occurs, minus the expected return of asset B is this one, okay? Of course, we have to log F11. So hit F4, log it, okay? And now I'm going to copy these two functions, to the other rows. Okay. Before we move on, we check it to make sure the functions are copied correctly. Click here and then hit the F2. Now in this cell, that is C8. This one, return on asset A when boom occurs, minus expected return. This is exactly what we want in this cell, right? And now check this one. Check this one. Hit the F2, key F2 on your keyboard. Now you can see what is this one. This is D7, this one, minus F11. Okay, this is that is deviation of asset B when when above average scenario occurs. Okay, so this is exactly what we want. All right. Okay, now let's calculate the squared deviation. So I'm going to calculate this title. Okay, I'm going to calculate probability times the squared deviation. Okay, yeah, probability times the squared deviation. We can do that step by step. First, okay, yeah, let's just do step by step. All right, step by step. So that is so this column where I'm going to calculate squared deviation of asset A. In this column, I'm going to calculate the squared deviation of asset B. Okay, now we are going to square this one. How can we do this? Well, I'm going to use the power function. Power function is power function is on the key caret. Okay, caret, and then square it. So that is a squared deviation. Here, I'm going to I'm going to calculate the square deviation of asset B. It should be this one, right? Okay, raised to the second power, square it. Okay, and now I'm going to copy the function. You can check, you can check this cell, you can check the cells randomly to make sure, okay, the calculation is right. Okay, now, next step, I'm going to calculate the probability times the squared deviation. Okay, this column, calculate the probability times the squared deviation. And this is for column asset A. This column is for asset B. Okay. So now this time, this is squared deviation times the probability. All right. And then I'm going to do this for asset B. That is squared deviation of asset B times the probability, when recession occurs. All right. Okay. Now copy the function to the other rows. Okay. After we get this, now we can calculate what? We can calculate the variance, right? What is the variance? Variance is something up. Okay. Sum squared deviation times probability from scenario 1 to the last scenario. Okay, so I'm going to sum them up. So that is sum okay, this is the sum. This is the variance variance of returns on asset A. Okay, I'm going to use the notation. Use the same notation. Okay, I don't have to calculate this using the function. Okay, step from the beginning. I just move the cursor to the bottom right, and then scroll the black cross to the right. Okay, and now I'm going to round the decimal places to 6. Round this number to the 6 decimal places. Okay, then this one is the variance of asset A. This one is the variance of asset B, right? Okay. Now after this, then we can calculate what? We can calculate the standard deviation. Standard deviation, take a square root of the variance. Okay, so I'm going to use SQRT. Returns the square root of a number. Okay, then which number? This number. Okay, so that is the that is the standard deviation of asset A. Now scroll to the right. This is the standard deviation of asset B. Okay, round these two numbers to 6 decimal places. Okay, I make a note. That is standard deviation. Okay. Now, next one, we're going to calculate the covariance between the returns of these two assets. Okay, so next one, I'm going to use the same notation here. Now I'm going to calculate the deviation times deviation. All right, I'm going to calculate. I'm going to do this step by step. Deviation. So in this step, first of all, I'm going to calculate the deviation of asset A times deviation of asset B. Okay. Then in this column, I'm going to calculate the probability times deviation of asset A times deviation of asset B. Okay. Now I think it is simple, right? Now here, deviation of acid A. Where's deviation of acid A? Is here. Okay, that is deviation of acid A when recession occurs. Okay, then times the deviation of acid B when recession occurs is here. Okay, that is deviation times deviation. And now I'm going to calculate the probability, for the recession. What is the probability? Probability is here. Okay, times the deviation of acid A times deviation of acid B is here. Okay, so here we get the probability times deviation of acid A times deviation of acid B. Okay, I'm going to copy the function to the other rows. Okay, now let's look at, how can we calculate? Now let's move on. How can we calculate the variance? Here it is the formula, right? Here is the formula. Calculate the deviation for each asset, and then deviation of asset A times deviation of asset B, and then times probability, and then sum them up. Okay, now we're going to sum them up. So we sum them up. The sum from N3 to N6, from N4, from N4 to N8, Then this is the covariance. Okay, covariance. This is covariance. Also, I'm going to round the number to the 6 decimal places. So covariance between the asset A and asset B is negative 0.0264. Okay. Actually, in the lecture we learn, okay, the value of this, the number of covariance doesn't have much economic meaning. The point is the sign. Okay, the point is negative or positive. Okay. Now, after this, we are going to calculate the covariance coefficient, right? Yeah, let's move on. Covariance coefficient is called, we're going to calculate the correlation coefficient. Okay, correlation coefficient. Correlation coefficient is defined as covariance between A and B divided by the product of standard deviation. Divided by the standard deviation of A times the standard deviation of B. Okay, so this is the formula. All right. So now we're going to calculate the correlation coefficient here. That is covariance divided by the product between standard deviation of asset A, covariance between asset A. Okay. Correlation coefficient is defined as covariance between asset A and asset B divided by the product of standard deviation of asset A and standard deviation of acid B, right? So now N11 is covariance between A and B. Now divided by the product between standard deviation of acid A and the standard deviation of acid B. Now click enter. That is correlation coefficient. Of course, yeah, I'm going to round this number to 6 decimal places. Okay, that is negative, almost, yeah, that is negative 0.9988, yeah, almost -1, right? So I'm going to make a note. That is the correlation coefficient. All right. Okay. So that is how to use the probability distribution to calculate these statistics. Again. Okay. In the Excel, we don't have such functions to use to calculate these statistics. We have to follow the definition of these statistics and calculate these statistics step by step. All right. Okay. So please watch this video. Okay. Yeah. Again, if you can read the Excel, you don't have to watch this video. If you do not, then you can watch this. Okay. Now that is all for today. Thank you.